Okay. This is talking about this is it, and it's life is that simple. It's just life happening. It's very easy, very normal, just very literally life happening. It's not happening for someone. There is no one. It's just empty. Everything is just empty. Oh, my husband is showing my book to show that I have a book, written a book. I have to show. Okay. It's just a Dutch book. It's a Dutch book already. It's wonderlijk vrij. It's called wonderlijk vrij. And I hope it will be published in English one day, but I don't know. I've sent it to an English publisher, but I don't think they want it. But so we'll wait and we'll see. In English, I think it's called Wondrously Free. Wondrously. I didn't know that word, wondrously. It's a wonder. It's a wonder. And the freedom, it's just a wonder. Everything is just wondering, like, oh, it's like that. And it's not like, whoa, it's very, very big wonder, but it's just a small, tiny, like, oh, it's just like that. It's not asking yourself anything. It's just life. Life is just going by itself. That's what I wanted to say. It's just empty. Everything is empty. So there's nothing inside and there's also nothing outside. And that for me, everything seems to be very solid, and it's not even called solid. It's just normal, that everything is real. And there are other persons, there's an whole world, there are children, there are relationships. And this message is about there is no relationship, there's no one. So there's nothing happening. It's just empty. It's just an apparent happening. It's seen that there's walls and tables and people, but it's there and it's not in the same time. It's just an appearance. So nothing is really happening. That's the freedom. It's just life, walling, rosing. It's like there's also no rose. There's no rose. It's not like there's Rose and there's someone, this is someone that has not a me or something like that. No, there's also no Rose. There's just that face and that you see something of the body. That's it. And there's an assumed life or identity or thinking about what's going on with Rose. But it's an assumed identity. There's no identity. There's just a face talking words, and the words seems to have meaning. They don't have meaning. It's very strange. It's crazy. Nothing has any meaning. So there's just talking, and maybe there's thinking, oh God, I want to get this. I also want to have no me anymore, or something like, what is said, and I have to be in this meeting because maybe there's something happening. Everything what is happening is already this, so it's already there. But the strange thing is, when there's a feeling or a belief or something very convincing that you are there, there's also the same thing like, oh, there's something not right yet, there's something wrong. I'm there and I have to make my life work, or I have to say yes, or I have to, everybody has something different. It's just thoughts. It's just thoughts coming from nowhere. It's just nothing thoughting in a certain way without any meaning. It's just thoughts. It's just an energy. There's no meaning in it. We are thinking our thoughts are very important and they have the energy to make things work. No, it's just energy. Thoughts are the same, like there's thoughts, there's some live thoughting, there's live glassing. It's the same. There's there's difference, but it's not different in this is more important than that. It doesn't need to say yes or to say no. Maybe saying yes is happening. That's just what's happening. It's not important. It's not meaningful. It's just what's happening. And then there's something else. And the strange thing is also that there's no now. There's no time. And no time, you can think, oh no, when I'm on holiday, I forget the time and I don't know how late it is. That's the easy part, you could say. But when there's no time, there's also no before and no after. So there are no consequences. Nothing leads to anything. It's not because of I did that, then that was happening. That's what the abstract mind of people can do, it seems to do. It's just when there's happening this, and it's completely new, something else. It's always new. Everything is always new. It's not only for when there's no me, everything is new. It's already always new. Everything is already new. So there's no need to get rid of that me because there's already no me. Maybe there's a belief or a very, very convincing thing that there's a me. Then that's there. That doesn't matter. Then that's a thought or a belief. That's what's happening. That's just life believing. That why not? That doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing right. It's just neutral. It's just everything. So there's no need for anything. There's no need to do or not to do. But for when there's a me, it seems like me is the doer. Me is the feeling there's something wrong. There's something not right yet. That's so embodied. And it's not about wrong or right. A lot of people know it's not about wrong or right, but and then it's more subtle. It's like saying yes to things or doing the only thing that's important for me. It's always something, because there's also very, very embodied belief that it's you that has to make your life comfortable or good, or how you will call it. There's no one. So there's no one doing it. When there's feeling like, oh, like shit, then there's feeling like shit. That's just what's happening. There can be feelings you don't even know what it is. It doesn't matter where it seems to come from, because that's just an imagined thing that you think it's maybe that. Maybe it's my mother, maybe it's a whole dream of conclusions and consequences and feelings like, oh, that's because of that. It can be there, but so what? Then that's what's happening. That's just life happening. It's not you doing it, so you don't have to unravel, or don't have to not do that anymore because that's not necessary. There's no one. There's already no one. It's just empty. It's just empty. It's just body, and it's not even a body with an inside. It's just that front. What is seen, what is felt, what is seen. That's everything. It's so literally and so concrete. There's still the brain working, like thinking. There could be thinking, or there can be thinking like, that has to do with that. But that's just thinking. It's not real. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Because it's everything. It's just everything. It's just thinking, I don't get it. That's the thought that's there. Or they're thinking, but I am one, and all those things. Or there may be a feeling. Then there's that feeling. You don't know what it is. Maybe you think you know what it is. Then they're thinking, you know what it is. There's thinking that. It does. It can't be not it. It's everything. So it's already what is happening. And at the same time, it's really crazy to hear that nothing is real. Because for when there's someone, everything seems so real and so normal that everything is there. And I have relation with children or mothers or fathers or bosses or anyone. There are no relationships. That's crazy because that's so normal that our relationship and what she's saying to me and that hurts or I did the wrong thing. It's just an imagined world. And there's just what is. When there's feeling, there's feeling. When there's talking, maybe very angry, then there's anger. So what? That's that energy. It's just energy in a certain way. Nothing is better than anything else. It's just what is. That's already life. Everything is just life happening. And it's everything. So it can be contracted or free contracted, free contracted. A lot of thoughts, silence, anything. Everything is already life. And when there's a me, there's always a but, because there's trying to get it, trying to understand, maybe trying to feel it, trying to know. When that's happening, that's happening. And maybe there are questions about that. It doesn't matter where the questions come from. It doesn't matter if there are questions about your personal life, what seems to be personal life. So please do every question, because there's no wrong question. It can be anything. It's not, there are no silly questions also. If there are questions about your personal life, so what? Then they are there. So this is not a meeting like, oh, we talk only about non-duality. We are questioning what is freedom. No, it can be anything. Every question is a question. So please say anything, or maybe you want to share, or you want to say something, or maybe there's nothing coming, and there's nothing coming. It's okay. Let's see what's happening. Rose, just a quick comment about the English version of your book. What about offering selling the PDF on your website? Oh my God, I don't know. Congratulations on the book, thanks. No, I don't think so. I have an English version, but that's my English. It's not really a good version. And I'm still busy with trying to find a publisher, but we'll see what's going on. And I don't think that's a good idea. I don't know. I will also talk with my publisher, my Dutch publisher, what maybe there are options, what to do. We'll see. If somebody knows an English publisher, maybe. We'll see. And when it's taking time, it can be, yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Compliment for your book.
Compliment for my.
Yes, yeah. I'm still reading it. I haven't finished it. I'm halfway, but I like it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's already so far away. Like I don't know what I didn't read it for, I think, a half year or something like that, because I did read it so many times. So then I stopped because it was like, oh, it's telling every time the same thing, I thought. But it's always in a different way. So thank you. That's nice to hear.
I recognize a lot.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So when there's only a Dutch version, the longing for the English version will be very, very, very strong when it's not happening yet. Oh, that's awful. No, we'll try to do the English version. I know I would like it, but I do my best.
You are also talking about a sense of feeling not good enough in your book, and I recognize that too.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have to do with that feeling.
Yeah, that's so strong. That's so it seems to be in everything. That's so strong. Can be so strong. Yeah. And the me is, you could say the me is trying to make it right, to make it work, make it feel right. And it's an endless struggling, because it's a misunderstanding, but it's not only in the mind that you can say, oh no, everything is okay. It's so an embodied misunderstanding. It's so deeply embodied. It can be so strong. Yeah. There's nothing wrong. Can't be wrong. It's just a feeling. It's just saying something to somebody seemed to be somebody else. So that's it. There's no one.
Yeah, sometimes people are asking, where were you, or why haven't you do this or that?
Yeah. But that's the energetic thing, that there's something energetic and that's so embodied, like there's something wrong, and then it's seen in seemingly circumstances that's still there. That misunderstanding is still there. So yeah, that's it. It seems to be the truth. There's no truth. It's just there can be pain. There can be pain or sadness, but nothing is wrong. There's nothing wrong. Mm. And this is not trying to convince people that you are all right, something like that, because this has nothing to do with this message. There's when there's a feeling there's something wrong, or they're thinking like, oh, why did I do that, or people saying something to you like, and it hurts, then the pain is just that. It's just pain. There can be pain. It has nothing to do with anything. That's very strange, because we are so convinced and so used that everything has to do with something else, with somebody saying something and I'm feeling that, or their thoughts, and because of I'm thinking that, then I'm feeling not all right. Nothing has to do with anything. It's just what's happening. It's very simple and literally just what is happening. Very tiny, a feeling, a sensation. That's it, a movement. Nothing is wrong means also nothing is right either. Yeah, sure, sure. Because there's a longing that people think about you that you are all right or something like that. That's confirming that there's someone. And then the same, it's the same game, it's the same struggle. It's always about good and bad, but it's good and wrong. And it's most of the time it's not called like that because a lot of people don't know already there's no good, there's no wrong, of course. But then they're saying, I have to say yes to life, or I have to do the something that's important for me. So I will do the thing that is really good for me, something like that. It's the same struggle. There's always something going on, like I have to do the right thing. There's no right thing, there's no wrong thing, there's just what's happening, and it can be anything. Then maybe you don't know what to do, then that's doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with knowing. Life is just living. It's just energy. It's just by itself. Nothing is doing that. That's the easy part. It's just going. It's just by itself. And then when there seems to be someone, it's like, oh, I'm the doer. I have to do maybe what do I want today? Oh, something. This is the most. Maybe I can breathe better, so then I feel better, or something. Anything. It's always thinking about what did I do, what did I not do, or what can I do. That's the me. It's the doer, and it seems to be the helper to make you feel good about things. When there's no me, that whole dream is not there anymore. But that's just thoughts coming like that. And when it's not happening, it's not happening. That's also what is happening. So in that sense, there's no difference. There's already no me. Me is not thinking. Thoughts are just life thoughting. How do you say that? Just life. For no one. Nothing is important. Me thinks I'm the most important person of the whole world because it's always about me and how can I do something that makes me feel comfortable or better. When everything is falling away, it's like, oh, it's about nothing. It's about nothing is important. So there's also no Rose who's important or something. No, nothing is important. There's no Rose. There's no Rose. God. But that's also the freedom. There seems to be a character, but how can you talk about that? That's just remembering what happened before, and then maybe, oh, that's her way of thinking. Oh, maybe she's like that. I'm like that, maybe. God, that's so complicated. Why should you? It's just life happening in that sense, and there can be a hyper, like, oh, like that. And that's what's happening. So then it's something else. It's chaos. There seems to be characteristics, but why should you name it? Can be like that. Mm.
Hi, Rose. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, I have to say, this is the first time I joined this meeting, and I was reading your book, and I didn't finish it either. And I thought, I have to finish it before I can join the meeting.
Oh, so sweet.
And that thinking, I know it's just
Hmm.
a
I
thought,
don't hear you. Oh, yeah, yeah.
but still,
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
it's so stupid that I'm thinking that, but I can't help it, of course.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
and and now these last few minutes, I think a thousand thoughts were going through my mind because I have to tap this
Uh,
button to speak. And I
yeah.
think, oh, it's unbelievable, this me who is doing these things. And you are saying, when it falls all away, but
Yeah.
when does that happen? When does it fall all away? Or
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking right now.
Mm. But that's what most me's are thinking. Like, oh, that's that frustration that seems to be a lot of problems or not knowing what to do or how to do or things like that. It seems so strong, and then there's noticing like, oh, that's I have to finish that book, or like certain beliefs there seem to be so strong, and they're also seem also silly in the same time. So why do I do that? Something like that. It's always something like that. And the strange and the frustrating thing is it can't hear in some way, it can't hear this is it already, and it's just what's happening.
Yeah. And
It's
sometimes I feel like, okay, I'm reading your book, and I can feel it. And
mm,
then still I think, but that's just thinking that I understand it. It's just
uh,
a thought. Like, oh yeah, that's what she means. But it's just a
mm.
thought because I don't.
No, I
Hmm,
don't think it's always a thought. There can be some sense of, it's not understanding, but something else. There can be a sense of so I don't know.
hmm,
That doesn't need to be a thought. That can be like that, like understanding. But there's always can also be something else. You can't describe what it is.
mm-hmm.
Recognition or something like that.
Yeah,
We're so
yeah,
used to name it, that you name it, or that you try to think from, oh, what is this? But that doesn't need to be there. It's just can be a recognition, and you don't understand at all, and there's something going
yeah,
on. Yeah, yeah, that it's energetic. Yeah,
yeah. It feels like it because that feels kind of, yeah, there is nothing, but only for a moment.
yeah, 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 sure. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
hmm, yeah. Mm. And it's just when this is heard, or for a moment, or there's something. It's like entering that whole darkness is maybe too strong, but that there's something else. Like, oh, there's something else, because that's that whole world, that whole thinking about I'm there and what do I do with my life and all that seems to be the only thing, the only world, that only way to do things. And then suddenly there's something else, maybe not understood, but something else, like, oh, there's another possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't do that with the same tools we are used to, because we're used to know or understand or name or that's, but still there's something. God, there's and you want to do it, and you want to grasp it and to name it, but still there's something somewhere, somewhere it's already known, something you could say, but not like knowing in the understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And sometimes you have this feeling that you know, and then suddenly, boom, somebody is saying something, and
Yeah.
then there is this me again, because you're
Yeah.
reacting and then it's all gone.
Yeah. But it's so, how do you say, how do you say, we're so used to meaning with things, and then it seems to be that there's meaning in what is said. And this is without any meaning. This suddenly, it's like childlikeness. It's just like little children, no meaning at all. Little children don't understand, very little children don't understand meaning of things. It's just very concrete and just what is seen, what's happening. And then that whole abstract mind going on, and then it's so normal. We're so used to it. It's also brain. It's in the cells in brains, like, oh, that's going on.
Yeah. You said there are no stupid questions, so I have another question.
Yeah.
And that is about, I was reading on your website that you're also doing it in French, and I was thinking, oh, how brave. She's also doing it in French. And you were saying like, okay, my French is maybe sometimes you have to use English words. Is it not that you also have this feeling like, oh, am I good enough? Or are you just doing it? Just doing it in French because it feels like it.
No, there's sometimes like, oh, I don't know how to say it or things like that. And I'm just laughing like, oh God, how can I say that in French? And then suddenly it starts. No.
Yeah.
But that's, yeah. But that's not, it's not the same. Can I do it? It's not, I don't know.
No.
I can't say, I don't know how to say it. It's not brave, it's just people ask me and I said yes before thinking.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Just say it before thinking.
I
Do
was
that.
like, oh God. And then, yeah, and sometimes I don't know what to say, but it's the same in English also. That's less maybe, but sometimes I don't know how to say it in English, so it stucks and then suddenly it comes again.
Comes again. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Rose.
Yeah, thanks. There's a question. If nothing is important, why does all this appear? It's just appearing. When there's a me, will always be a question like, why is this happening? Or when it's not important, why? There's no why. There's just describing what's happening. There's no knowing. So I don't know why it's going like this. It's just describing what is seen. I don't know why. It's just life. Like that. And it's also not happening. It's so crazy. It's like, and there's somebody talking about that. And that's even amazing that people were listening, because this is so crazy. It's so different than what most people are used to talk about. And still there's something going on, and it's not even knowing why. There's no why. Just describing what's happening, that's it. It's also not trying to make it more clear or trying to that people understand what I'm saying or believe maybe. That doesn't matter. There are no other people, so there's just talking. There's just words coming out, and they don't have any meaning. The funny thing is, maybe people come here to that it's important. It's the most. I had that in the same way, like, oh, that meetings of Tony Parsons, that were the most important meetings of my life. And in the same, when this is happening here, then there's, it's not important. No, it's just talking here, and then maybe there's drinking coffee. It's the same. That this is not more important. It doesn't matter, because it's already what is happening. There's no one there. It doesn't need to know there's no one, or there doesn't need to happen something that the me is falling away, there is already no me. So nothing needs to happen. That's crazy. That's the longing, that nothing needs to happen. It's already this. So there's no need to make something right or that there's something still needs to happen. No, it's already this. And it's very tiny, like moving that hand or thoughts happening maybe. That's it. Crushing my nose. No, not my nose, scratch it. Okay. And nothing is important. God, that's amazing, because when there's someone, you think I'm here and there's something happening, and there seems to be a lot of things seems very important, that you have enough money, that you're loved, or you're, now there's so many things. So when somebody is saying nothing is important, it's like nearly an insult, like, oh God, how is that possible? But also nothing is not important. It's just what's happening. And that can be a feeling like, oh, very raw, or pain, or anger, or sitting on the couch, just sitting. Anything. It's not, this is not about feeling nice.
Is there a difference between nothing matters and nihilism?
Yeah, there's a huge difference.
Okay, can you say something about that?
Yeah, because nothing matters. It seems like that then what you say to yourself, there's something happening and it's very painful. So it doesn't matter. And then it seems like it's lowering the pain or something like that. That's when they're saying to yourself all the time, but nothing matters. It's okay. It's nothing matter. Then it's kind of low and flat and like that. What I mean with nothing matters is that it's everything. So there's nothing better than something else. There's no wanting something else. So nothing matters. It's like, it's just this. So it's not a longing for something else, for I want this or I want that. It's like, it's everything. So no, it doesn't. So there's no longing for something. I want this to happen, or I want that to happen. It's everything. So in that sense, it doesn't matter what's happening because it's everything. But that doesn't mean, and that's what most people think, when you say it doesn't matter, it's everything, then people think it's like, oh, everything is okay, and then you're okay with that. So there will be no anger or no pain or something, but everything is just, it's okay. Uh, No, it can be like very painful, like, oh, I don't want this. But that's it. It's not, there's nothing trying to change it. It's not coming. So there's no escape. But that doesn't mean that there's a struggle with it. It's just, even when there's a thought like, I don't want this, or maybe I don't think it's so strong, but there's something, then there's nothing coming. I can't say differently. There's nothing coming to change that. So there's just that feeling. But the funny thing, the strange thing is, when there's pain, in the same time, it's not there. That's so. In the same time, there's also a wonder, and that's not strong. It's like, oh, there's pain. No, it's not like that. That can be very strong, but still there's something else going on in the same time, that it's not there. Yeah, you can't, I can only say it like that. And then that's, yeah, and that's with everything. It's there, and it's an appearance, but it's not that I know, because then that's just being clear, and then it gives a nice feeling that there's knowing that nothing is really happening, something like that. That it's not like being clear, it's just like that. How can you say that? So then it doesn't matter what is happening, because it's so difficult to say, because it's not, when there's someone going on, everything matters. You can say to yourself, like a way of speaking, like nothing matters. That's a new way of trying to make your life more comfortable. But nothing matters. That's the freedom. It's just everything, without any. There can be a preference, but that doesn't then. But it's when that's not happening, then that's not happening. But how can you describe it? It's so, I can't describe how it is, and that it's trying to do that, but it's everything is an appearance, and it's not knowing it's an appearance. It's just like that. But how can you describe it? Sometimes I'm trying to describe it, but how, there are no words. There are no words about that. Because when there are words, there are always something else. When you say this, there's also always something else, the opposite or something like that. So that's also with nothing matters. Then there seems to be a meaning in that, like, oh, nothing matters. That's how we used to talk about nothing matters. And when I'm saying nothing matters, it's like, no, nothing matters. It's everything. But if I say it's everything, it seems to be like, oh, I'm enjoying everything. No, I'm not enjoying everything. There's sometimes anger. There can be anger. Like little children. They're not enjoying everything. It's more like fight, vitality, aliveness. It's just, that's more the word, maybe. Everything is just very much alive. But everything. Yeah. This is energetic. It's not about knowing how it is, or understanding, or being clear. That can be there, but that's not the same. This is about being, there's no me, there's nothing, it's just empty. But it's not knowing there's no me, or being clear there's no me. That's something else. It's just the loss of everything. It's just the loss of everything. No, Rose. No.
Yeah, I keep thinking that by these meetings, there is a energy, and it gives me something.
Yeah, yeah. There's a certain energy thing. Yeah. When there's somebody believing there's something not right there, then there's looking for something. So there's looking for, you finally think, this is in non-duality meetings, there's something going on, like maybe I don't understand, but it's energetic, some energy. And then when there's feeling some energy or something, then it seems like, that's what I was looking for. But that making it a state, like there's something, a state, and when that's feeling like, or more free or something like that. Yeah, that's what I feel in those meetings. It's more free or more, I don't know, maybe you feel like, when Rose is talking, there's something going on. But that's making that what's happening kind of special. And it's just what is happening. And that's and it's everything. So there's nothing more special than something else. Because there's such a need for something to happen, or something, maybe losing the me, or whatever you call it. And in some way, it's not her, that it's everything already. It's so, and you can't do anything about that, because that's so strong, that search, that longing for something. There's nothing special about these meetings. Oh, God. Yeah. There's nothing to get. What should you get? It's already there. It's already the way that body is moving. Their thoughts are coming. It's just that. Maybe some feelings, but that doesn't has anything to do with me talking, or some of me talking, this talking. It's just feelings there. Nothing has to do with anything. That's crazy. We're so used to this is because of, I'm feeling this because of those meetings or something else. It's just a feeling or sensation. Maybe you don't know what it is. When there's cramp, then there's cramp. That's just a sensation somewhere. Can happen. Mm. Just this. It's this, and this is not a mysterious thing. It's moving the hand. It's nodding. It's drinking coffee. It's walking. It's very tiny and simple. It's just sitting, maybe a sensation somewhere. It's already happening. It's the only thing there is. It's shouting. It's just shouting like, hello, I'm already there, but not in words. It's just by being everything. So you can't miss it because it's everything. It's what's happening. It's just the only thing there is, but it's very tiny and without any meaning, just sniffing or shouting or behaving in a certain way. So that's life in that way. And when they're saying it's not real and you don't get it, so what? Then that's there. That it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. It's because it's everything. So there's no need to do or not to do. And when there's doing, then that's what's happening. It seems to be doing that you are doing, but it's just what's happening. Crossing the street without looking, maybe. So, and it has nothing to do with feeling comfortable or feeling free all the time or happiness. The freedom is that it's everything. It's all inclusive. That's why people love those holidays all inclusive. No, it's a joke. It's all inclusive. It's just unconditional love. And the unconditional is that it's everything. It's just everything. There can't be something wrong or right, but everything, it's neutral. It's always 100% what it is. When there's tears and they're just tears in the throat, and, but they're not here on the cheeks, then there's tension here and tears there. That's what's happening. It's just everything. And it's already there. There's no one doing it. It's just empty. It's just what's happening. It's everything, what is happening, what it is. That's this. Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Rose.